friends. We're back. This is the Annex podcast. I am Luna,
I am Terry.
and we are two quirky educators just navigating through educational news and topics, the fun, the foolishness, and the frivolity of the news and entertainment, and then just figuring it out being the new adults. So
Did you hear that? Oh,
I was to
I'm
say,
sorry.
Terry,
That
would
wasn't
you
even,
like to explain that sigh?
just for the record, that was really unplanned. Like that really just was a organic sigh. Like I wasn't even trying to sigh.
You sighing, friend?
I said, I'm tired.
Girl.
Yo, I need
Tired
a
is
whole nap. Like I need like
no, I need a
Thanksgiving was
whole
just
vacation from the
no.
vacation.
When I say Thanksgiving break really just reveal how tired I am.
hmm
And I'm going to get into what DOE is doing to me. And it's really just, I want to cry. Like, it's just, I'm tired. I don't want to be an adult anymore. Like, it's too much. It's, why do I have to
Listen,
evolve? Why do we have to evolve as humans? Like, I just can't. I want to be like Captain America and you just stay where you at.
get those good
Yeah. Like,
molecules and chemicals in you that'll make changes. I
yes.
know. Yeah, and then this whole what is it, fallback? The time, and then it's getting darker early, and it's just freaking me out because I'm like, oh my god, I have so much to do. It's so dark outside. Oh, it's only 4:30.
It's 4:30. Feel like it's a whole 10 o'clock.
So your body is just like, oh, it's time to lay down. Oh, it's time for bed. You're like, no, it's only 4 o'clock. There's still things that need to get done. So that's another layer on top of everything else.
Weren't you
But
saying that that was like man-made and clocks don't really turn? Was that a conversation we were having with you?
well, I think the United States or the Americas,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. I think we're the only ones that do daylight savings. I don't think anywhere else in the world really does it.
Mm,
It was done at some time, I think, because it had to do with like the harvest, and as far as like, the hours for gathering for the harvest. So that's why it was done. Something like that. I don't remember all the details, but it was something like that in the fall harvest. You're gathering all your grains and the things that your pumpkins and everything that needs to be picked before sun goes down. So I think that's why it was done. I think,
mm,
double check on that, but it really has no purpose, otherwise. But yeah, but I
yeah.
mean,
No.
yo, the week is weird and things are weird and things are just getting weirder by the day. I can't even say by the week, by the day, things are getting
Yeah.
weirder. So let's just jump right on in to these scaffolds and memos because we've been like in and out off and on a little bit because things have been quite hectic and strange for us heading back for the school year. So right now we were all kind of in this mini lockdown. Department of Education had us in a mini lockdown because the numbers were going back up for COVID. So they wanted to take precautions and they put basically all New York City schools on notice and shut down the buildings because we were doing the hybrid and remote. So they kind of reeled it in and, on a Friday evening, decided that not even afternoon, midday, Friday evening, when everyone was home already, decided, oh, we're going to shut things down until the numbers go back down. And Terry has a little more experience with that because she was actually in the building. So,
So, just some corrections, my friends. There was no notice. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I got notice. Let me just rephrase. I got notice working remotely.
Okay.
I got notice
And
that
it
it was
was a
happening.
Wednesday. I clearly remember the day like it was Sicily 1921.
Well, let me just say it was notice. It just wasn't prior notice.
So it was a Wednesday. I clearly remember Sicily 2020. Never gonna forget.
Hmm.
I was still in the building preparing for the next day. I was waiting for Bay, and I happened to still be in the building, and we were talking about packets. And you actually messaged me and said, "Hey, there was a email sent that we're not coming back." I was literally standing with my coworkers, like, "Yo, my friend just said they emailed the principals like, yo, we're not coming back." They were like, "What?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like, they're like, "We're in the hallway. Like, what should we do? Should we get our things? Like, should we wait to hear from our building leader? Like, we didn't know what to do." I'm like, "Oh Lord Jesus, take the wheel." Meanwhile, half the building left, majority of the building left.
Right.
Okay, because it was like 2:30, and
Hmm.
when it's time to go, they leave because usually teachers like to come in early to leave on time. So most teachers do. So most teachers are there early, an hour early to get ready, and then they just leave when it's time to go. And then he's walking through the building, we saw administrator and confirmed. So like I was so mad because the Friday before they told us that we weren't coming back. So that was when they told us like around 11 o'clock. So we were able to pack all our things, and I was trucking everything home, mad boxes and stuff. So then on Sunday night, they were like, "Oh no, we coming back." Like, you see the emotional abuse? Like, you feel me? And I didn't bring everything back. I'm like, "F this, damn it, I'm not bringing everything back. Damn it, I'm not." Like, I was upset. I bought like one or two things back. And then Wednesday, they're like, "We're going fully remote." Now we've been fully remote, just getting a hang of things. And now they're like, "Okay, now you're coming back."
Like,
First of all, it's not okay. It's not okay. Like, I literally am like, I'm trying to think like, how can I change careers, because this is not okay. Like, I
and
just
not only are you coming back, but now they're changing the schedule.
I didn't get that notice.
Girl, it was, yes, you did, because we all got that notice.
I didn't get that notice.
It's in the email. You have to read it though, because the email is long. You
Which
have to read it.
email?
The last one that the chancellor sent. It says that it will be shifting to the 5-day schedule, because before it was like 3 on, 3 off, like you were flip-flopping, right? In the hybrid.
Yeah.
But now they're changing it to like a 5-day schedule. So they will be, instead of your student, I believe it is, instead of your students coming 3 days a week, they will be coming 5 days a week. Now, some schools are able and set up to do that, and some are not.
I don't
So
think we're able to do that because
so
we didn't
there's
get
there's
that.
advice. So because the shift is supposed to be for it to happen everywhere eventually. So I'm not sure how everyone is moving. I think everyone is moving differently. Some people are
Okay.
going straight into the 5, and some are maintaining what they have, and then they're going to, like, while things are happening, they're working on their schedule to move into the 5. So I actually was notified today by my administrator that I will get a phone call from another administrator to let me know how that's going to work.
Okay, so I just looked at my email from my administrator. We're still doing the the
Hmm.
cohorts. So we that's what I'm saying. I'm like, not us. Like, maybe he sent that out, but our school hasn't started that yet. Cause I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah,
don't do that.
but it's in the email. It's in the
Yeah,
email.
but like, no, our school's not doing that. So every school
So
has to be moving differently. Eventually, I guess he wants to do 5 day, but that's not going to work if we're being socially distanced.
I mean, I
Be
guess some
socially
schools
distancing.
can do it because of
Oh,
their
we can't.
size, because of the size of the building, maybe, and the classrooms that are available. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but I know that the administrators in my building have been working on it. So
Oh no, we haven't started that yet.
I will find out tomorrow what that is, and I'll let you know.
Well, I'll ask next week when I go in, but if that's going to be like a goal. But for right now, no, we're still doing our cohorts, which is okay because it would be too, for my class in particular, the numbers will be too big. Not all classes are in the same predicament. Some classes can't even go fully remote, the blended classes, because a lot of students aren't coming in. So it just depends on the situation. For me, there's no way that they would send all of my kids in because it would be over capacity
Yeah, I don't
the way my kids
honestly.
are. Yeah.
I don't know how that's
What I
going
do
to.
know, what I do know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
hot mess. I do know that it's on a serious note. I'm gonna put my serious face on. This is it. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's not fair because for me, it's a part of like the systematic inequity because for for you to do this flip-flop, people are just getting their iPads. You're not giving the educators an opportunity to master one thing. So now the state still wants to rate everyone like it's a hunky dory day, which is unfair because not all students are getting adequate instruction throughout the days because of lack of technology. We're not going to get into like, the situations where families are not able to support their child academically.
Right.
The attendance issue, both remotely and in person. So, like, this is a whole world crisis. And the fact that you're still trying to rate New York City schools and like have, of course, you should have some type of accountability, but I don't think it should be the way they're kind of doing it. It's just too much. And the attendance issue is a big, big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, both remotely and in person, like I said, it's just unfair. The fact that like we've been remote for about 2 weeks and there's some students that I just saw today because they just got their new iPads in. What's
Right.
what's today? December. December. Some of these babies are just getting their technology. So they missed a whole 2 weeks of learning.
You know what? And it's all a mess. But you brought up a very excellent topic, which is equity and equality, and how they're not the same. So, and that was something, I spoke with some of my coworkers about equality and equity, and how, everyone thinks they mean the same thing and they really don't. And um the equality flag is, yeah, everyone's equal. Everyone has the same opportunities presented to them, and the information is there. And the question that was posed to us was, let me just make sure I'm remembering correctly what the question was. What are they? What's the definition? And how are they different? And one excellent example, and I know you've seen maybe like a picture representation of this as well, because there was one floating around. A great example that one of my coworkers said was, okay, so Terry and I, the both of, this is actually a great one. The both of us get a ladder, right? I get a ladder, you get a ladder. We both have the same ladder, same company made it, same color, everything. And we're sent to pick apples from an apple tree. And the apples are on, let's say, the 10th branch of the tree. So you put up your ladder, I put up my ladder. We climb up that ladder, right? We both climb to the top of our ladders. Terry, what's your height?
I'm 5'1".
And I'm 5'6". So we both get to the ladder and we both reach our hands up. Guess who's getting an apple?
You,
Who's not getting an apple?
me.
So that's an example of, the equality was we both got the same, we both had the same information. There's an apple tree. We both got a tool, a ladder, the same ladder, and we went to the tree. But now we get to the tree, and I'm like, oh, I got this. I can reach the apple. I grab it. You're reaching your hand up. You can't reach the apple. You can't get to that apple. Now, this is where the equity comes in, where you given the appropriate tool to help you get there. Right? So that's the problem. So people always say, oh, the information's out there. Everyone, the information's there. It's there. It's out for everybody. It's not being kept a secret. Okay, you're right. Now things aren't really being kept secret and information is out there. But access is what makes it different.
Talk about it.
Is it accessible? Now, if all you got to do is press a button to get the information, all right, of course you're going to get the information. But if you got to go over the hills and through the woods and up the mountain and cross the river to get the information, that's not on your hierarchy of things that are needed. That's time, resources, and energy spent doing something that may or may not be useful to you. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the accessibility and that's exactly what you were saying. Like that baby didn't get their technology till December.
Today, right. And then that's what
And
I
they probably
said.
asked for it in June.
Right, when the form
So
first came out. And so
so
that's what I
it's
was
like
saying.
that's
It's
the
yes,
problem is the
yes.
accessibility, and that's where equity comes in. Is everyone given the same amount or same ways to access? And even so, I started, and even it hit me this week because even though I say it and I believe it, am I living it? Because this week I was sitting in my class, my remote class, with teaching and whatever. And parents know they can text me while I'm teaching if they have a question or there's a troubleshooting issue or whatever the case may be. And my coworkers as well. So a parent shoots me a text and says, hey, now this was this week. I believe it was Wednesday. So that was yesterday, right? Parent said to me in the text message, hey, I need help. I've been calling the school because I'm trying to get my child's workbooks for math and reading, but no one will pick up. And a machine won't pick up, and no one has called me back. How do they expect me to get the materials I need for my child? When can I go in?
Isn't it closed?
Now, now I said to myself, schools having, and I responded, and I it was impulsively, and I thought about it for a minute, but no, I just couldn't. I said, um, the Department of Education schools have been closed. All buildings, school buildings are closed. A notice went out about 2 weeks ago, and it has also been a hot topic in the news. Did you not receive the email? That was my text message back to the parent. Then the parent replied, oh, I see it now. Thanks. So part of me was a little concerned and upset. But then when I really thought about it, it made me think about equity. Checking her email was not a priority, even though that is the only way that the Department of Education and the school communicates with the parents for the most part.
Right.
She didn't check her email. So she's been calling the school for days when the school's been closed for over a week.
But the schools also have like a lot of hubs, and if you're not tech savvy, it can be overwhelming, even for me, because they have the NYC student email, and then they have
No, they
another.
have it goes straight to whatever the parent email is. That's where it goes.
And then they have
So
some
that's
parent
why.
portal, like something else that they had to do because
So
they have to go through that to fill out, because they're not allowing students back in the building unless they sign a form that they can be tested for COVID. That's another link.
right.
So it's just like a lot.
So that's why I was just like,
Right.
And
We
I
check our
and
email because
I
that's what we do.
right, and that's where I was coming from. But I then I started thinking as maybe this parent, and I said, you know what? That's not on her hierarchy of important things to do. There are other things that have value that are important, and that is not one of them.
Think about us
And
in the
so,
summertime.
and I mean, I check my email sometimes, but
Oh,
I check my email.
I don't check my
I
email
mean,
too.
everything's connected to my phone, so
I
I
turn it
don't.
off.
No, I
Mm,
don't,
mm.
because I'm nosy. But I gotta know. But yeah. So and I make announcements in the classroom, and I make announcements in the beginning, and I make announcements at the end, and I also put announcements in our classroom as well. So I mean, there's so many different ways she could have gotten that information. And I always say to the grown-ups, I say, please make sure whatever email that you use, we have it and that is current. If anything should change, please make sure that you give us that information. But anyway, I said all of that to say that that is just another example of equity. Like, that just wasn't the form of communication that spoke directly to that particular parent.
And it assumes going, it goes all, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much. It assumes that all our parents are literate because systematically the education is the quality isn't the same, and maybe you didn't go to school because your parents just came from a different country,
Right.
and it just goes back, it goes back to that and the community issues. Like, I was Kamala Harris saying, like, just putting more money into the resources to help,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like using that money for policing, because there is a lack of resources in certain neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
So it's just a whole, like I've always said, and I've never gone into politics, but you're not gonna fix education until you fix the community issues. Like, it's
The
just
whole
never gonna,
system needs
the
to
whole
just be.
system be like, and I think that's what like a lot of advocates are fighting for now, just the whole revamp of the system, because it's affecting us all. And as much as we have the heart to want to help, we could do but so much,
Mm-hmm.
just as educators, because it goes beyond our pay grade, in certain circumstances of what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
We could try, we can advocate, and that's why I stay in the city, just to advocate for these kids and do what I can, do my part. So that's why I give my 110%. Like, they're like, I took off that coach hat. I don't pay attention to that. I'm a teacher. That's what I'm going to give my 110% to these kids. And I'm going to do what's best for them during this time. So if I need to send out an email or translate every single message that I write in my Google Classroom, that's what I'm going to do. Because if that's going to help that child, then and that family, it is what it is, because it's a mess. And I don't know. And like, to go into like the social emotional aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have the kids like, I miss you. And, even some teachers enjoy going to work. That's their safe haven.
Right.
For me, I could take it or leave it. But some people really miss going into work because their family is the school. As an adult, work, I remember years ago when I was going through my life situations, work was my happy place. I did not want to go home. And that's real talk. So the back and forth is affecting the learning. It's affecting our planning. It's causing stress. That's why DOE knows it, because they constantly sending mental health PDs to us. I know if you get those emails, they're like, you want to
Yes.
de-stress, because they know what they're doing to us. They know.
Mm-hmm.
They offer so many mental health PDs.
They're like, here's a hotline. Maybe
If you need to
if you
call.
or someone you know needs to stop by, and you're like, oh, okay, DOE.
Yeah, DOE is on
Okay.
it because they already know, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Bad enough we have to deal with the second wave of COVID. That's another issue. You think the kids don't feel that and know that? They can't see their friends, they can't see their family. Like, I just need some consistency. If I can ask for anything it would be consistency. So that's why I was elated that they weren't going to open up the enrollment again. Just let me have who I'm gonna have. You
I'm
know,
getting new students.
I have two new students, but I'm glad that that's it. If the DOE keeps their word, I won't be getting any more. But I need them to make executive decisions. Like, I do not think it's the wisest thing for us to be returning on Monday. I don't think that's a wise decision
I think
at
they should
all.
just let it rock out until
January,
January.
like every other school district that has sent,
Like, why?
because I think, I don't know, I think because New York City is federally funded, the
Mm-hmm.
attendance
Dance is a huge issue.
is
Yeah.
a huge money. It's all follow the
But
money.
at this point, it's like, really?
Girl.
It's the whole country,
Right. Like,
the world.
I really do think it has to do
Like, it's
with
like, come
money.
on, like, chill out. Y'all, you got you, all of you, they that have, y'all could chill out.
Right.
You will be all right.
Right. Everybody will be all right. Every other country has figured it out for their citizens. I don't understand why you haven't. Even with the vaccine, that's another topic. Like, someone posted, like, China was able to get over the vaccine, get over the COVID without a vaccine. F you, Bill Gates. Like, somebody,
Dang! I'm like, dang.
because I do
the
feel like
the whole fu to Bill Gates.
it was on Instagram. I was dying because I'm not getting it. Like, I'm gonna try my best, but again, you don't know. I could talk all my crap. Like, I'm not getting the vaccine. But they're not letting me back in the building unless I agree to get tested. So they might do
I'm
that.
like,
Like, oh well, if you don't get the vaccine, you can't come to work. Who knows? I don't know. I don't trust nobody. I
listen,
don't trust the United States of
listen.
America.
I said, listen. Let me tell you. That's why everybody is getting they CEO titles in this quarantine, because they know, like, some businesses are really seeing that they could still be just as productive with half of their staff home.
Hmm.
So, for some businesses it may be beneficial, for others maybe not so much. But this is a brand new I mean, not brand new, but it was a platform that was emerging, where so many higher learning programs and higher learning institutions had already been on the whole remote learning. And I mean it does require a certain level of responsibility and accountability and maturity to do it effectively. But if you're trained from young to do it and do anything, you can eventually do it well. So, I mean, I feel like this is where it's going. So, for anybody to say, oh, you can't come back unless or you can't do your job unless you get this vaccine, now that's going against my own personal, that's going against my civil rights.
Right.
So, that's a whole other can of beans that will be opened when we get to it, because you can't make somebody um take a medicine that they don't want. A
Eh,
doctor can't even get their patients to
To take,
do
yeah.
whatever they want if they feel it's going to be beneficial to them. So,
But I see it though, because they're forcing the mandatory testing, which I'm okay with, because hey, test me. But to inject
that's different. That's
chemicals into my soul, no, I'm good. And there are some parents that are like, no, my child is not being tested out. They'll stay home. There are some parents that refuse to do that, because if they're little, you don't want people, you don't know this person sticking something up this baby's undeveloped nose. Like, and you're not there. So I just, all right, let's go on. Let's move on, because I'm getting upset. Because just pray y'all
but
strength in the
let's
Lord.
just let's just snake on over to
The earth is ghetto,
the earth is
because
ghetto and I'm out.
I don't think I have enough wine to even like deal with what's going on in education right now. They're making me
Well, we already spoke about the vaccine. So, well, I'm so glad that they president has finally calmed down, and they are proceeding with the transitioning of the new office holders that will be inducted in January.
Did you see
No.
that picture of him on the in that
In
sitting
that
at
little
that
table.
was I had to YouTube it. I was like, this is not real. It was real.
They were like, "This is real." Every time I saw it, the caption was like, "This is real."
It was I still didn't believe it. I had to see it live. I Googled it on YouTube. I went on YouTube to look at the actual your man was at a mini table that you have in a classroom for the arts and crafts. Like he didn't what? Do
What
you know
happened?
why that happened? Like they're sunning him, his own
Listen,
people.
the hijinks and foolery that goes on.
I said, somebody, Michael, what's his name that does all the documentaries? Michael Moore
Michael Moore, yeah.
said, I'm gifting you these U-Haul trucks. The disrespect that is transpiring on, why do they call it Al Gore's internet? I hear it all. They say it all the time on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so funny that my screen time continues to increase because the comedy of this guy, Twitter, is my favorite because Twitter, they do not care on Twitter.
Oh, everybody got Twitter fingers and they care not. They like, what? Come and get me. They like, I
And
don't
it
care.
be every color. It don't just be black or white. Every culture, every person that has sense roasts this guy on his own Twitter feed. And he continues to tweet. He continues to tweet. Like, I'm just happy that he, has some sense. I still think he might still try to put on a show as we get closer to the inauguration.
Listen, I look forward, especially, when there's that part where the transition happens and they leave a letter for the next president and vice president, and the first lady leaves a letter for this year. Oh yeah, it will still be a first lady. Um, and that whole and I think they're supposed to buy a present.
Don't they invite them in and have like a public meeting?
Yeah, they have like a little thing, and they leave a letter for them, and they read it in the office, or they show them reading it. I don't think they actually share what's in the letter, but and then the first lady gives the new first lady a present, and they meet or like in front, and it's gonna be interesting. But what I am ready for, and I can't wait to see it, is all the festivities that go along with it, like the the speeches that are made, like the people who somebody's gonna read a poem,
Yeah.
someone's gonna sing the national anthem, and then they have the inauguration ball, and then they have special guests singing and performing, and they dance. The first lady and the president dance to like a special song. I remember when the Obamas were there, I think Beyonce sang At Last.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to see all of that.
It's going to be packed because people are so relieved.
Well, it might
Oh,
not.
maybe. Oh, right. COVID's here. Forgot about COVID. COVID's here.
So
Yeah.
I don't know
You're
how
right. You're
they're
right.
that's gonna be different.
That's interesting. Yeah. I
That's
forgot. We
gonna
still
be
got the
different.
COVID. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it may be that like maybe the cabinet, like the main people that are need to be there will be there at the event,
It will
and
be
then
highly
that's it.
streamed. The streaming will be
Or yeah, or maybe they'll
through
do
the
it
roof.
like that, where
Like they did for
say
when he won. Like there was like few people there and they like streamed his speech and then Kamala's
right.
speech. So they'll do something like
They'll do some,
virtually.
maybe they'll do a virtual performance or
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
that'll be different. But I mean, I'm happy that he, got the memo. Um It's sad. I feel bad for him. I'm gonna pray for him because, like,
For who?
Donald Trump, like, he's lost.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. It's like sad. It's. I'm glad he's out of here because I do not like him because I just don't like the energy he gives, even if it's fake. People are so gullible and vulnerable to leadership that it's even like in a classroom, in a school, just people really look up to other people. And he was just a poor example of just any type of behavior at all for any leader role. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I couldn't be under him if he was a principal. Like if he was a manager at McDonald's, it just wouldn't be for me. Like, so I'm just gonna. I hope. I feel like he's still gonna be up to his foolery after. He can't stop, won't stop. Like, I think that it's not gonna end. He's gonna continue to do he's not gonna go away quietly. Like Hillary took her L, was like, put up the two fingers, quietly left. You haven't really heard from her. This
She's doing
guy,
her thing though.
yeah,
I
but
think
she's not being a hot mess. This guy,
no. I mean, because she. I mean, I want to say she has some sense, like, and some level of like ethics and how to interact with people positively.
right?
So, I mean, when you just live that lifestyle like that, where you're like, I'm gonna get all hocus pocusy, as my mother would say. When you just let your shadow self and your ego just like run rampant and unchecked, that's what happens. Like, you just let it unchecked and you're just looking for people to feed that
Into it,
aspect of
yeah.
you. And that's the only person that you present to people. So that's all they think you are. Whereas, there are people who seem like they're crazy, irascible people, but they have this part of them that is, that other people can connect to positively. Like that chef, Hell's Kitchen. What's his name?
Hmm. I forgot his name, but I know who you're talking about.
But you see him and you see him, it's for the entertainment. And part of it, a lot of it is him, but exaggerated, and made into this thing because it's television. But he has this tenderness to him. He has this soul to him, because when you're feeding people and people eat your food and enjoy it to that level, that means that something loving, something positive is pouring out from you into something that you care about. So he has that part of him. Whereas with this guy, Trump, you don't see that at all. You don't feel it at all. Like, there's nobody around him that's just like, you know what? He really is a good person.
Nobody.
He comes off, as this and that and this negative thing, but he really is. He has a good heart. He has good intentions, but he doesn't know how to deliver. Like, you don't hear anybody making those
Not even his
claims.
wife. She
That's
barely likes
that was
him.
my next point. I was like, not even those that you would think would be closest to him, which are his children, his ex-wives, his current wife. Nobody is like, oh, he's a wonderful person. He has a
His
good heart.
wife looks like she's ready to go. And
So
she's
it's just,
filing on January 21st. She's going to court and be like, okay, thanks. Where do I sign? Because she looks like
yeah. So yeah. So it's and you're right. Like, you can just only hope that, I don't even know what you would pray
but
for.
Barack Obama is getting some negative press this week
Oh
because he said
yeah.
the defund police is like some catchy
Okay.
slogan.
And you know what the problem is with that, and I understand. I can't remember her name. Man, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna post it. But she was saying, like, she loves him, but she doesn't agree with him.
Oh,
Now,
from the View.
right.
Hmm.
My problem with the phrase defund the police, and this is just my personal view, is not the phrase, it is what the phrase is perceived to mean. Everyone, just like anything, there is the true meaning of what that means, and then there's the meaning that people have. And when I say people, I am specifically talking about the media, has the meaning the media has tagged to it and taken that and ran to make it into something negative. And
Right.
that's what the public perception of the understanding of that phrase is. Now, yes, Barack Obama is an intelligent man. And I think from what I saw, because I didn't see his whole report and I didn't see her whole report, but I think he was coming from that perception of the public's understanding of the word defund the police, because that's what he has to speak from, because that's what the popular belief is of that word. Now, could he have taken that time to say, this is what people really need to understand of what that phrase means and what is perceived to mean? Yes, he could have done that, but he chose not to. He chose to really speak to what the perception of the public, their understanding of that word. Now, the real meaning of it, yes, the real meaning of it is, yes, we have to like really, really look at, you know, what it is that the police, are they serving? Are they doing their job as serving and protecting? And how can we reallocate that money to something that really needs it? So how can we, look at what is being done, how they are being instructed, how they are being taught to work in neighborhoods, what is their own personal mental emotional state in order to enforce those things that they're supposed to stand for, that they're supposed to do, and just like everything else, redo the system. That's what it's supposed to mean, but that's not what people understand it to mean.
Right.
And
I
and
think
that's the perspective he was coming from. And so I
people
think
ran with it and just like,
and I think that it's unfortunate that with everything, everybody has their own understanding and meaning of what things should mean and what they do mean and etc. But I know he's getting a lot of flack for that, and I mean, understandably so. But it's kind of hard when you have so many people who have their own understanding of what these means, especially when it's emotionally charged, and then the media throws more, you know, fluid into that fire. So when you're emotionally charged in a system where you feel you're being oppressed, and you hear somebody say something like defund the police, and you're like, yes, defund them because they don't know what they're doing, and they're like, no, that's not what we're saying. That we're not saying get rid of them. You need some kind of, law, justice, whatever, somebody there to make sure things are being done, you know, positively, and the things that are negative, that they are taken care of in the best way. So some people, that's their perception of like, get rid of the police. And you're like, what? Whoa, wait.
yeah, I think that Senator Harris kind of like, I saw a clip that Charlemagne the God put up, and she basically said, no, it's just reallocation.
Yeah,
Did you know, going back to
right.
education, that there are more school safety officers in the school building than guidance counselors and social worker? Like, it's like a crazy percentage. And so that's
Yep.
that inequity where certain schools are heavily policed, whereas others are not. The money is not being allocated appropriately. You're spending all this money for school safety instead of paying social workers and guidance counselors and career um, experts in certain areas. Same thing as you have all this money going into your precincts. It's like 25,000 precincts in the Bronx, but you don't have mental health centers, family resource centers, whatever, hospitals that are adequate where you don't have to wait 20 hours to get seen, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So that's exactly what defund the police means. But I think that because we are our own enemy, I feel like there were just people itching and waiting for him to say something to attack him, because sometimes unbeknownst to ourselves, we hate ourselves. Like, instead of
Mm-hmm.
coming to his defense and trying to understand what he was trying to say, it was like, oh, yeah, ah, ah, ah. What I do have like my eyes looking when they said the ex presidents will get the vaccine on screen live in front of everybody. That don't make me feel good.
I
I
was
don't
like,
know.
what?
They could be getting water injected. That doesn't make me feel better. Him, Bush, and Clinton, they're gonna like publicly get the COVID vaccine. That makes me very suspicious because I'm like, what? Mm-mm, mm-mm. So
Illuminati.
yeah, it's just a whole lot of um. Oh man, there's so many wonderful things to talk about. Can we talk about Jingle Jangle?
Let's talk
Let's be
about
happy
Jingle.
for a
Let's talk
second.
about Jingle Jingle.
I'm gonna be happy for one
Okay.
second.
If you all have not watched it yet, and I know this is the holiday season, so I'm all about, I love the
Yay!
holidays. I've been playing holiday music since October. So,
Mhm.
there's like the 25 days of holidays or Christmas or whatever you want to call it. And, all the holiday movies are out and um being displayed. But one movie in particular that debuted on Netflix that is called Jingle Jangle is the
Yes.
talk of the town. And let me tell you, the talk is real and it's worth it because this was such an amazing, and Terry and I talked about this already, but it was just such an amazing display of so many themes, so many ideas, so many concepts, just meeting and melting together into this wonderfully delicious tale.
Yes.
Um, you
It
have
was
like
let me see. I'm Googling it.
you
I'm
have
trying to
like
see
these
figure out the director's name.
classic kind of concepts and themes and ideas from tales that we're used to, the Eurocentric tales of like or themes from like Peter Pan and um the classic fairy tales, like all those um wonderful tales that we have with wonder and fabulousness, but they were all people of color and it wasn't a remake of something, which I love.
Nope.
It wasn't a remake, it was an original script, original tale. And
Black director
yes,
David
um
Talbert.
it was it John Legend executive produced it?
Yeah, and I think he did a lot of music.
Right. And the music, and it wasn't a musical in the classical sense, like they were singing every 5 minutes, but there was enough music in it to keep you interested, enough singing and amazing performances by the cast. And this new beautiful little girl, I don't know what her real name is, but her name
Looking
in the
at
movie is Journey. And she was just so like, you every moment you saw her you just smiled with her because she just
yeah.
made you feel the joy of that childlike wonder that we all had at some
Her
point.
name is Madeline Mills.
Madeline Mills, oh, the
She's so cute.
baby. And and it was just so wonderful, and there were so many just wonderful little touches of you know um afrocentric details. um
The hair,
The
the
hair,
outfits
the
with the embedded in
outfits,
kente cloth,
the
the
dance,
snowball
the
scene where they did
choreography.
they did Afro beats. I mean, you said that it was promoting STEM, and it was just,
It was promoting STEM and women in STEM because
mhm.
the daughter and then the granddaughter and the great granddaughter, I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but it was just a beautiful, and everyone was just talking to each other positively and connecting, and even like the villain of the movie,
He
you know
wasn't so bad. He wasn't like a mean villain. Like he was a villain, but he was just
he
misguided.
was a
He needed a
relatable
guidance.
he was a
Yeah, he needed a
relatable
guidance
villain.
counselor. He needed a guidance counselor, a mentor. So I mean,
And
that movie made me
and for
happy.
most villains, I think that's where it starts. They needed a guidance counselor, but they never got one. They never got the love and the support they needed, so they just
I don't
went
know.
off.
I don't know if I agree because Thanos for me, I don't know. Thanos. I just can't.
You don't know his backstory.
I gotta. Do they have a
every
movie
every
about it?
villain every villain and every hero has an origin story, and they always start the same. It's all about what
I need to see that
choices,
Marvel.
because a lot of those heroes very easily could have been a villain
True.
if you really look at their backstories. It's all about that one choice that you make, and the choice after that, and the choice after that, and the choice after that. I think that's actually in one of those like superhero movies. That's like the
Yeah, well, Thanos get on my nerves, but
he just wanted the
yeah,
world to be perfect, but we need to know why. Mm,
yeah, we need
what
to know why.
happened? Something happened. Something happened to make him snap. See what I did there?
Nah, but he's cold blooded, yo.
But
Like
aren't
that
they? But aren't
dude.
they all, depending on your perspective?
You know what? I see what you're saying because after I saw Joker, I was like, oh,
But look at what's that? What's that show we like? And we're like, oh, and we were okay with him killing people.
oh yeah, you.
We were all right with it. We were like, oh, he just wants to be loved, but he was killing
Said
people. He was
he's
killing
killing
people,
everybody.
but not only killing people, kidnapping them and torturing them and then killing them.
But he had a good
He
heart.
had
He
a
had a
good
good
heart.
heart. He did. That's a good like binge. If you have not seen you, that's another one that's a really good. I need
But he was a serial killer.
my
Like,
fave.
but you're like, oh, Joe.
Yeah.
See?
So
Getting
and
back
then
to
you got mad at the girl he killed. Well, you should have.
you
Who would have
good.
got
Nah, you
killed?
was like, nah, Joe. Get her, Joe. Kill her, Joe. She get
You
her
wouldn't
now.
have got killed if you made better decisions. You ain't treat him
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
He
see,
was just trying to love you and make you better.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? But no, you want to be playing
You
games.
wanna be here on the street starting a biting. It's so true.
The brown girl
It's
knew he
so
was
true.
crazy, and she was like, mm.
Oh, the brown girl was like,
She was like,
two fingers. I have discernment. My
okay,
grandma prayed for me.
let's get back to Jingle Jangle.
Oh, sorry,
we went,
jingle jangle.
we went. We have to go off on a tangent. It wouldn't be right if we didn't go off on a tangent. But yes, Jingle Jangle is an amazing movie. It will make your heart happy, and definitely check it out. And there's a lot of other great holiday
On
movies.
Netflix, I have so many things in my lists. There's
Mhm.
so many like Christmas movies with black leads on
Mhm.
Netflix. Love stories, all kind. There's a whole bunch of them. Netflix, first of all, Netflix is taking over the virtual streaming world because they're like they all the black shows.
They jumped on
They're
that.
making their money. You got Chandra Rhimes coming over. You got Dave Chappelle for
And Debbie
loyalty
Allen is there with her hot chocolate nutcracker.
documentary. Oh, Nutcracker. Yep. Dave Chappelle, you got his loyalty. He gave you your props. Um, they did settle with Monique, the comedian.
Oh, they did, because I saw something,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure if it was something
I
true.
hope that they give her a special and give her dues because
Right,
she's
because
way funnier than
she's
what's that lady? Amy,
hilarious.
what's her name? The one that got made more money than her, where she had a problem.
Oh, Amy Schuler.
And yeah, she's way
I
funnier than
mean,
her.
listen, when it comes to entertainment, it's always gonna be whatever your preference is. Because I have this conversation with my cousin all the time about Kevin Hart,
Oh,
and I was like, I think he is funny to a point. Don't come for me, Kevin. Don't come and try to snatch my edges. I only got a little bit left. Leave it alone. But I think he is. Everybody has their different kind of funny, and everybody has what they like and what they don't like. For me, he's that funny. He's that funny. Like, how you have your group of friends and you have that friend that is funny, but they're funny in your group of friends.
right.
He's that kind of funny for me. Like, he'd be that friend that always have the jokes, whatever, and you're just like, oh, shut up, whatever, and he will have you belly laughing because he's trying to make you laugh, but laugh based upon your relationship and his understanding of you and how you connect. Whereas him being a comedian and having like these big stadiums full of people and trying to make all these people laugh, I don't think he's that kind of funny. I don't think he can make me laugh for an hour.
You
And
have
I
like
don't,
specs.
right. I think he's and I said that. I said he's funny in spurts. And I said there
Mm-hmm.
are people, and I think comedy has changed in some degree as well. There are not that many comedians, I believe, in my perspective, again, this is my belief, that are like gut busting funny. I think comedy has become more of about just connecting and having people who are really good storytellers and very good at making commentary on the things that are occurring in life and in the world. It's not so much that it's like funny, it's just that you can relate to it and it's funny because it's real. Not so much that it's like, oh my God. It's funny because you're like, oh my God, yes, me too. Yes, me too. Yes, that happened to me too. So it's a lot of that happening and not so much the it's not really that kind of funny anymore. I don't think a lot of comedians um exist on that plane.
I think Dave Chappelle's funny because he's so calm, and the things that come out of his mouth you don't really expect.
Mm-hmm.
But like he has like funny moments, but in his past he was a little bit what's the word I'm thinking about? Like, less serious, but like he was just like a little bit more silly. But now he
Mm-hmm.
just like speaks to what's happening, and he says what everyone is thinking.
Right, exactly.
Whereas Tiffany Haddish for me is that silly, but she's not as funny.
Right.
She's
And
like
I
that loud, like you said, that loud friend that I would hang out with. We would have fun, but I couldn't get through her special. I couldn't
right.
get.
And I feel like no, like a lot of people that is not that's appealing to certain people. They need to just see the silly, you know? Whereas other people they want more of, like we just said, like the Dave Chappelle's and um the Dion Coles and people like that
He's
that give
hilarious. Like
that they're
his special had me
good.
cracking up.
And again, and I had this conversation with my cousin as well. I said he's good at storytelling. Why? Because he's a writer. He's a comedic
Mm,
writer. He has years of comedic writing. He's written for another one of the comedians that I love, and he's not even really a comedian to me, but he is a comedian, Conan O'Brien. I think Conan
mhm.
O'Brien is hilarious. I love Conan. I will watch Conan stuff all the time. He's done a lot of writing for Conan. I'm sure he's done, maybe he's worked on Blackish. I know he's on the show, but I don't
Yeah.
know if he's worked as a writer there too. But he's had a lot. But when you get into a writing room with other people, you listen and you hear it's kind of like teaching. Like you hear other styles, you see other styles, and you see what you could, the bits and pieces you can take and incorporate and make your own. And he has years of that under his belt, where you have some comedians like a Tiffany Haddish or a Kevin Hart who doesn't have that particular experience. So they're just going off of, well, what they know or what they try or what they bounce off of the people who are in the room with them, who, for better or for worse, they probably will laugh at anything. But yeah, so you have people who can weave a great story and throw something funny in, you
I
know.
think that Kevin Hart's first 3 specials,
Yes,
the
those were,
first
the
one,
first one was good.
I was like, "Ah,
Yeah.
ah." I feel like later, the last, like, 2, I was like, "Eh," but the first one, Laugh at My Pain, I can still watch that now and laugh like I never saw it because that was hilarious, like, for
What's
me.
my favorite one? I'm a big little man.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite one.
That
and
was
the,
funny
and the
too.
one that came after that, I don't know if that's Laugh at My Pain. I don't know if that was
But
the
so,
next one. But
I don't know, how do we start talking? Reading?
I don't know how
That
we
is not
got
even
here.
gonna I
I
don't
don't
know how
know
we
how
got
we.
here.
Oh, we were talking about Netflix and
Oh, so
how.
Netflix. Run
Yeah,
over to Netflix,
I was like, how
guys.
did we get here? Wait a minute.
Yeah, Netflix is popping. Watch Jingle Jangle
We
if you
said
haven't
all of that to
already.
say, check out Jingle Jangle on Netflix. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Um, this year, I think a lot of people, and we can even kind of glide into adulting about this too, about a lot of
Yeah.
virtual celebrations this year, especially for the holidays. Some people, it's still, they're still keeping their celebrations separate. Usually they have big family Thanksgivings and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Diwali, being multicultural here, celebrations. And people are just celebrating with their nuclear families, including myself. I usually have a big family celebration, and we did not this year. We just did like a video, a video chat, and said hey to each other. So it's pretty tough, especially for people who family is really important to them, especially like the grandmas and the aunties who want to see the babies and the grandkids, and it's very difficult.
I feel like I called my mom on Thanksgiving because fortunately this Thanksgiving forced me to really put on my chef's hat. So I actually had to cook, whereas I never really have to. I kind of like fake cook, but everybody else does the cooking. But this year I had to do the cooking. And so we did our virtual family call. But I think after that, I feel like I FaceTime my mom over 5 times just to make sure I was cooking correctly because I had to make things that I've never made before. Came out really good. I'm proud of myself,
You
which
go, girl.
yeah. Babe was like, "Thank God for COVID." Like, really?
Wait,
Made you cook. But I'm really proud of myself. But it was tough because I tried to get her to come over at the I'm like, don't you just come over? It's still the oxtails on the stove by the
to
time
make
you
your
get here.
mom do that dry.
Yeah, it was tough, because I don't ever not see my mom. First of all, I don't even
Right.
see her at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Bay. So
I
it
know.
was hard. And Christmas might be the same. So we just have to be thankful for what we have because I saw a news clip like people were in line for food. Like we think we're struggling because we can't go out to have wings and drinks. There are people that really do not have
Right.
food.
Yeah, I actually worked at like a food pantry the week before Thanksgiving, and it was first of all, I don't know how they get their donations, but they, and I will also at them in when we post the video. They had so much, girl. When I tell you all the fresh produce that was there, I mean they keep it as fresh as they can, of course,
Mm,
because they get it, when they get it. They had stuff from some name brand foods at a particular organic grocer that we both love.
mm,
They had stuff, lots of stuff from them. They had like really good stuff, like um butternut squash, bok choy, uh sweet potatoes. I'm trying to think what other. They just had so many tomatoes, all like 6 or 7 different types of lettuce, um asparagus, pumpkin, acorn squash, uh just tons of vegetables, and then also tons of fruits as well. And then they had tons of lots and lots of canned and boxed goods as well. And basically all people had to do was come and line up. You didn't have to
mm.
show any special card, you didn't have to do any of that. You just had to come and line up and have your cart, and we just gave you one of each or two of each or whatever it was depending on the item. And people came and they also did turkey raffles because someone had donated a bunch of turkeys. And you know unfortunately, of course, you're always going to have those people that complain, but that they don't like what they had. And I was like, what?
I
Like,
mean,
and I was like trying to give people, I was like, oh, you want this kale? I have a bag of kale for you here. And they're like, I don't want that. And I was like, I was like, this is free kale, free
kale is
romaine,
not cheap.
free. And it was it was the bag of kale.
That's that good. That's some good lettuce.
Yeah, and it was kale, romaine lettuce, arugula.
The fancy,
Um,
the
there
fancy.
was there was another lettuce that I've never even seen that type of lettuce. I don't even know what kind of lettuce that was, but that was there too. Um, and they were like, no. I was like, you want this lettuce? Oh, what about these green beans? No. These snow
What did
peas?
they want?
Nothing on my table. I had all the vegetables. I had the tomatoes. I had all the lettuce. I had the butternut squash. I had um sweet potato. It was actually like the cubed sweet potato already cut up for you.
Oh, that's expensive.
I had tomato on the vine, then grape tomato, then the containers of grape
I
tomatoes.
should have went on that line, and got my food because I spent my money.
They had Brussels sprouts on the branch, then the shaved Brussels sprouts in the bag. Then like it was like going to the supermarket. It was
And
literally
it was
like,
free.
and it was free. And literally people, there were several people that came to my table and I was like, what can I get for you? What do you want? I'm gonna give you whatever you want. And they were like, I don't want nothing. But they took all the canned goods, which I understand because it lasts longer or what have you. And then with the vegetables, you gotta cook it. And maybe they're in
You
a place
do.
and I mean, you don't have to, but maybe you need to have a place to store it. And maybe they're in a situation where they can't.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's me thinking in my head, like, this is good stuff. Meanwhile, they're living in a shelter
Right.
where they don't have a kitchen or they don't even have a room, or all they have is a room. So the canned goods works for them because they could just pop it open with a can opener or whatever and just eat right out the can.
It's an equity because, like,
Right.
the fresh fruits and vegetables is actually what is better for your body. And
Right.
because people are in different situations, hence why COVID hit certain communities harder, because you are eating canned food because that's what you can afford. And that's sodium, therefore your high blood pressure and this and that,
And
which COVID
yeah,
directly attacked. So yeah, but I'm glad that you did that. That was nice.
I mean, I want to continue doing it as well because it was just, and then after that, they had a whole different section. We had to like flip the table. It was like a concert of giveaways. Then they did a whole school supplies giveaway.
Nice.
And it was really, really nice. They had like, I got so excited when I saw it. I wanted to call you because they had binders. I was like, binders, binders, binders.
No, I have so many binders now.
they
I have
had
binders. I don't even know what I need the binder for, but I got a binder for it.
They had binders, they had notebooks, they had lunch boxes, they had book bags, someone had made little like packages where they had like socks, toothpaste, toothbrush, razor, soap. Then they had the socks, the Bombas socks,
Hmm.
where I don't know if you're familiar with Bombas, or listeners, I don't know if you feel familiar with Bombas, where you purchase the Bombas socks and then they donate socks to a place. And for every purchase, socks are donated to a place that like a shelter or something like that where people need socks and things like that. So it's a charity organization to some degree. So they had the Bomber socks, then they had like a whole bunch of soaps, like bar soaps. And then they had shampoo
What
and
kind of soap?
conditioner. They had this one soap. It looked like they were like hotel soaps almost. They were like a oatmeal and honey soap, and it had
Oh,
like,
wow.
how they have the little bumps on the other side to massage.
Oh, I love those soaps.
Yeah, so there was a whole box of that, and then there was a box of like Irish Spring, Dove, like the regular soap you can buy in the supermarket or whatever. And it was just a really amazing. So if I can find out some more information as far as if there's anybody that would like to donate to this particular organization so that they can help others, I will find out more information. But it was just a great experience to have because it's just something that I did when I was younger, but now as I've gotten older, I've gotten so busy that I haven't really given back to the community in that way. So it was good to do that. So I definitely will look forward to the next opportunity that I have to do that. But it makes you very aware of some of what's going on in the community as far as you were saying with the inequities.
Yeah, sometimes we're in our little bubble and we think about, oh, the holidays, yee. But then for others, it's just like holidays. Oh no. It's like the worst time of the year for them, you know?
Or it's
So,
just another day
right. Or it's just another day. Like,
where
yeah.
they're just trying to just make it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Christmas shopping is going to be light this year because, we didn't get another stimulus and my kids are still here eating every meal.
And extra meals.
Like, every meal. Like my older daughter feels like she's an IHOP, and like the
She
past,
needs to invest in the place that she works at and stop playing.
and but thing is, the where she works, there's not a lot that we like from there. Now that she's there, it's just like, it's not that
It's not the
amazing.
same. It's not the same.
It's not the same. I'm not even interested. I'm like, whatever. I guess you know how like when you work somewhere, you get tired of the food. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's been there for a couple months, and I'm already tired of it. I'm like, I don't want anything. In fact, if it's not a cookie, which I'm not eating cookies right now, I don't want it. So, yeah, Christmas shopping, but the mall was still popping. I went in there, I think last week for a moment. It was still very crowded.
Well, you got to remember Black Friday and Cyber Monday, all of that just happened.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with Cyber Monday. Like, I was just like, but there's nothing really that I did get a good deal on gifts for the kids. But when I guess because my kids are older, it's not as festive. Like, I like to play Mariah Carey and decorate the tree, and like it was like
Another good
pulling.
special that's coming on Apple TV,
Oh,
Mariah.
nice. I don't have Apple, but
Me
it was
either.
like pulling teeth. Like they're like, "Oh my god, we gotta do we have to?" I'm like, "You do have to because on Christmas Day you're gonna be looking to see what's under there, under the tree, right? So get these tinsels and let's go." And
You better get into the festive feelings right
you better
now.
turn on that Mariah Carey and like it. She owns Christmas.
She is Miss Christmas, the queen of Christmas, recognized.
Enjoy and sing along.
Damn it.
So it's about creating new memories as well,
Yeah.
from the traditions. But my kids are getting older, so they're not as fun. They're
Yeah.
not as fun as, when they were little. We used to do all kinds of fun things and they used to enjoy everything. They don't I can't stand like they don't enjoy anything. But you know what they did want to do today?
Mm.
The little one asked me to watch four little girls with her.
Oh my god.
Right. I was like, well, I watched it. But I'm like, why we watch? Well, I just was curious. I just want to know what happened.
I'm like, oh, okay.
That wasn't
But I
fun, but like as your kids get older, just to watch them evolve into like little people from like your little minions to like they're no longer your minions anymore. Like
I
it's just
know.
but kudos to those families with little children and are having a good time for the holidays. It's different. I feel like, mentally COVID is effing with my brain. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to stay positive, but I'm a little bit over it. Just like I'm just tired of just this whole pandemic. And so we do have to just try to make the best of it and do what it do. Do what it
Yeah.
do. What are you gonna do for your Christmas break?
I have zero plans as of right now. I mean, things are popping in my head, but I'm just like, we'll see what the world is doing because everything is like a day by day kind of thing. It's hard to like make plans sometimes now, but nothing really. I mean, like you said, it's just a bunch of adults in my house. So nobody's really, I mean, we do get festive in terms of like, decorating and things like that because we're decorating and playing holiday music. Like we're very about that aspect of it still. So that will happen. But anything else is kind of like,
Yeah. I asked the kids, I'm like, don't you want to go to like a drive-through winter wonderland? Someone sent me like,
oh, yes, I wanted to do that.
and they're
That is
like,
something I wanted to do.
meh. This one's like, I might have to work. I'm like, you guys are so boring. I can't stand it.
They
Like,
have a lot of like drive through, like there's a drive through like festival of lights kind of thing I
that's
saw.
so cool.
And I
Like,
said that's something that I would be interested in maybe doing, but
yeah,
I'm not planning it. I'm just gonna like text everybody like I'm going on this day. If you want to go, we could
right,
go, but I'm gonna go
right,
because planning things with people be getting flaky, and I get it because with the way the world is right now, nobody wants to go out necessarily. I mean, people want to go out, but then if the weather is funny or you just get used to just laying in your bed and whatever. So people just get cozy and they're just like, I wanted to go,
mhm.
but now I don't want to go. So I'm gonna look that up and I'll send out a text and whoever want to go, we could go. But
That's how
uh,
I am. I'm pretty flaky now because I want to do things, but then I don't
right,
because I feel like work is taxing.
it is.
And like, guys, we love y'all, but we be struggling. Like, it's a lot. Like, this work is taxing. And I think it's taxing on everyone right now because it's so strained because there's so many restrictions, whether you're going into a store or going into work, or if you're working remotely, it's
Hmm.
taxing. It's taxing, and I think people are, and then you can't, there's no outlets. There's no real
Your
outlets. Like,
outlets, like
the
for you to
outlets,
go.
it's restricted. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So even if you took a week vacation, what can you really do?
unless
Like,
you unless you going somewhere where it's like a bungalow on the beach and you have like your own little space and you could just go sit out on your porch and look at the water and you have a little thing to the beach.
I do see people traveling and like going to islands and stuff, which kudos to them. But again, so like if you work like me, why does my email do that? I don't know why it does that. Um, you can't. Sorry, guys.
What?
No, like I'll be on my computer and my email just pops up like nobody. Here comes Google Gmail.
It's
Like
like,
even when I'm with my kids, I'm like, thank God I don't have anything crazy in my email. It's just Cole's emailing me and Bath and Body Works. But um, yeah, even if I wanted to go away, I couldn't because for my work, I have to quarantine. I ain't got
mhm.
14 6 days to be at home.
I know. I was looking at all
So
these like travel things and I'm like, ooh, that date might work. Oh no, but then I'd have to quarantine.
right.
I'm like, oh.
Right. Like, I don't got time to quarantine. I got things to do. I got lessons to plan. So there goes my midwinter break, spring break. If they
Well,
even give it to us this year, they played us last year.
what some people are doing, and I've thought about it for myself as well, is like, and I think you did this as well, is just like go away just to another state or even within just another city within your state for like a weekend or a 4-day weekend and just go and even not even just if you're working remotely. You can kind of just go away for a week to just a bed and breakfast or like to a hotel and just work from there and
Yeah, people are doing
just to
that.
be in a different space than your home 24/7. And I think that's definitely a good idea just for your mind. Even if you're still like indoors, you're in a different space. So I think that is definitely, if you can get into a different space with maybe a little bit of a view. um
Yeah, because even like when you have the continental breakfast, no point in looking for that because it's whack, y'all. I've been to two hotels with a continental breakfast or like the that provide breakfast, and it can't even be the same. You can't even get the Belgium waffle maker because you're not allowed in the kitchen. It's like a bag with a muffin and some coffee.
you getting school lunch.
Yeah, you get school lunch and breakfast. So it's just like, even if I do decide to do something like that between now and when COVID's, I'm not gonna even stress because I always look for hotels that provide breakfast. I love the Belgian waffle maker, even though I have my own. It's just nothing like
It's
going
different.
and flipping it
And
and
just
just
the spread,
waiting.
it's spreading.
It's just nothing like
You're
going
like,
to a hotel. Yeah, right. The food dance, my Belgian waffle. Ooh, from the
so you're
hotel.
Winnie the Pooh dance.
Yeah, and my Belgian waffle. Like it's just nothing like it at a hotel. Like it's fun. And then there's a line, and then it's just like
You're like, you're
he
like,
makes
you're next.
with the little cup.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. So at 2 times I went to a hotel with breakfast, and it was just like a bag. Next, I'm like, all right. And I don't even like muffins like that. So it's just like, where's the Denny's or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I don't know. Maybe we'll see you next week.
We'll see how we feel because let me tell you, I had to send my coworkers a picture today. I was working on 3 different laptops today. I looked crazy. My parents, they were walking by. I was like, because I was doing like 3 different. Because I was working on my regular work laptop, and then somebody called me and asked me for something. And I said, okay, yes, but the information you need is on another laptop. So then I had to
Mhm.
go get that laptop. Then I was working on some private business of my own. So I had to get another laptop and work on it on there. So I was just like, okay, yes. Uh-huh. And I'm talking and I'm teaching. I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And it was crazy.
I have an iPad that I haven't even cracked open
Wow, look at you.
because I just am too lazy to do it. But it's a work iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to, I'm like, what do I really need it for? I have the school laptop and I have my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. See that? I just spoiled.
Well, I guess you can use it to get a perspective on the students that are using the iPad from the school so you can direct
Yeah.
them a little because I'm always like, I don't know what's on your screen. What's on your screen? I don't know what your screen looks like. You know,
I want a dummy email that I can use, but you only can use the DOE. Do you know how to like use that's another conversation. A dummy email so I can go on to my Google Classroom because I just don't understand sometimes when I'm like, oh, we can't see this. And I'm like, it's there. I see it from my teacher perspective.
yes, because with this is a different conversation, but the iPad perspective is 100% different than the
Mm,
laptop perspective. So you'll say click this and they're like, I don't see that. That's not here. And they're
oh,
right. It's not there. So,
I'm like
oftentimes
that.
I'm like, tell me what's on your screen. And they, sometimes they can tell you, sometimes they can't, describe it appropriately.
Write that on my things to do list. Set up iPad. Set up.
So that will help you to visually be able to navigate with them to let them know what's there if that's helpful.
Yeah.
But that I think that's it from us today. I know we were all
Um,
over the place. It was a roller
yeah.
coaster ride with us because we haven't seen and you haven't heard or seen us in some time. We don't really see you, but you see us. But we're gonna try to get on. It may not be every week, friends. It may be every other week.
And share with your friends because like we need to get motivated. We need more listeners. So share it. If you like it, share it.
And definitely respond to us on social media when we post and we post questions when we can. Definitely, post your questions and your comments and your concerns and your ideas so that we will definitely hit you back. Okay. So, friends, I am Luna.
I'm Terry.
And we are the Annex Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting us. We appreciate you all. Bye, friends.
Bye.